welcome to the Purlsbeforethyme knitting podcast. I'm Elise. If you're new, welcome. This is a place where we talk about knitting and yarn and fun. If you're not new, welcome back. For those of you new, this is Silas. He's my little Devon Rex boy who sometimes joins and sometimes avoids. So yeah, today I'm not going to be talking about anything it's not going to be like a themed video like some of my others. It's going to just be more of a sort of vlog style, what I'm up to, what I've been doing, and plans for the imminent knitting future. So it's already July. I can't believe it. Time has gone so fast this year. So much has happened. I finished my Hae Tee by Aegyo last week, as I thought I would. So that was very nice. It's blocked and I'm so happy. It's really, really comfortable. I really like it. No complaints. I will be wearing this a lot. It's really open, very wide sleeves, very airy. The fabric feels so good. It's like soft cotton with a little bit of linen and stuff in it, so it's really nice. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you're wearing like anything heavy, so highly recommend. I'm all set for summer. And speaking of summer, I needed to think about what knits I want to be making during my summer holiday. So I've got 2 whips that I'm focusing on now. I do have about 5 or 6 whips, and some of them are being saved for later. So my Magnolia Bloom needs sleeves, but the New Teton is quite warm to work with, so I'll be I'll be continuing that maybe in the autumn, I think, when I feel like what are you doing? Go over there, silly boy. So I wanted to focus on these other 2 whips that I'm on, and one of them that I've been speeding through, which I'm so pleased with, is my first ever Ranunculus, which is like a legendary pattern. And what was funny is I just cast this on and I was starting the yoke, and then Young Folk Knits, she did a whole video on Ranunculus mods you need to try. And I was like, oh wow, no, I wish I'd seen this before, and then I could have planned a little bit better. But she's clearly a Ranunculus expert, and I think this is not going to be my last one for sure, because, it's so fast. You do the neckband, and then you do some short rows, and then 40 rows later, you're already separating for sleeves. So I'm really having a great time. I have decided to make mine in 2 strands of mohair held together because I want a really light romantic feel. This is Tilia from Filcolana in the shade Ash. So it's this beautiful like bluey grey colour, and this yarn has a little bit of a special story to it, which is that my boyfriend, when we were sort of starting dating, like when we were like 4 months into our relationship, he went on holiday. He sailed to Germany and Denmark, and then when he was in Denmark, he went to a yarn store and he went and said, oh, I would like to get some Danish yarn for my girlfriend, and he got me this beautiful Tilia from Filcolana. So that's very nice. And yeah, I've been spending quite a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to make with this. I wanted it to be something special that I would wear a lot, and because I only had 4 balls of it, so 200 grams, what I'm going to do is I'm currently just started the 3rd one, so I think that'll be enough for the body, and then I'll just use whatever's left on the 4th one for sleeves. So I'm happy to have like a little short sleeve on these, even though I am following the pattern for long sleeve, because there's so many different parts of the pattern. So if you look at the shape of the short sleeve, it's quite different to the long sleeve. It's going to be a longer sleeve than the short sleeve. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do a diagonal cuff or not. I'm going to have a look at other people's projects and see if I like that as well. So really love this. I can see why it is so popular. I will probably be making a t-shirt of this as well for summer, because it's so beautiful, and yeah, I get the hype. The thing with Midori Hirose designs is, in my experience, I've made Snowy Forest 3 times, and they are just patterns you want to make more and more of. Like, she's one of the only designers that I will make her patterns over and over again because she just nails it every time. So after this, I'm going to be making much more of these. I also have on my queue, I want to do a snow crocus, which one of my very kind viewers decided to gift me from my Ravelry wish list, and I have so much fun planning my knits. So being able to like start planning a snow crocus has been really fun. I've been really enjoying that. So that's my ranunculus that I'm working on. And then I am also working on this. It looks really funny. It is a vest. It's a bit of a lighter thing to work on because the yarn I'm using is 1 strand of Hjelholt, which is just pure linen, and then the other, and it's got a strand of mohair with it, silk mohair, and the yarns are both from Aegyo. And the design is part of an Aegyo collection, but the designer is Annette Danielsen, and it's the Monaco Vest. So it's a vest worked bottom up, and it has pockets, and it's just a very beautiful sort of, I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of like the aesthetic is a little bit like Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice, but it's not quite. It's just because I've also decided to make it in this color, it helps it go into that. So I feel like if you want to go for a walk with wellies in the countryside and you want a little extra layer, this is gonna be it. So this pattern and making this has been so much about just trusting that the pattern knows what it's doing, because there's been a lot of times when I've been hesitant because of how the pockets are constructed. So it's a bottom up construction, so you can see this. It's hard to show because I've got 2 needles through this thing. But anyway, this is the back here, along here. And then this is the front right pocket. And there are, so you can see there's buttonholes along here. And then what you do is you make everything in one piece. And when you get to this point here, you do short rows to form this pocket opening. So it's like this nice little diagonal, and that's very sweet. And then you break the yarn. So you have this sort of long strip that's flat, and then like one little curvy piece. And then what you do is that you just make 2 little squares this big with live stitches on the end. So those are the pocket linings. So here is one pocket lining, and then the other one is on the other side, and it's over here. So what you then do is then you leave the stitches on the outside. So those stitches that you made the diagonal, you just break the yarn, leave those, and then you count the same number of stitches that are going to be used on the other side that are going to form the other pocket opening, and then you just leave those. So then you work the back with the 2 pocket linings on either side, and you work those flat upwards, which is the current stage that I'm on. So it looks like with these little ears on the end. Yeah, and then once this has reached the same sort of height as the outer pocket bit, I think there's going to be some kind of join, and then you sew the pocket lining down. And I've never seen a pocket made like that. It is like, I don't have a lot of experience with pockets. The only thing I've ever done before is where you just sort of, on one row you'll like cast off a load of stitches, and the next row you'll cast on a load of stitches, so you have a slit, and then you'll just pick up stitches along that opening and then make a little pocket. But then you end up with more layers, obviously, because you have the layer of the garment and then 2 pocket layers, whereas this prevents that. You only have outer pocket and then pocket lining, and that's it. So I think that's very smart, but every time I was reading this pattern, I had to read everything like 3 times to make sure I kind of understood what was going on. So I think I get how it works, and I'm really excited to have a vest with pockets. So that's going to be really exciting. And as if that weren't enough to be getting on with, I decided to sign up for a test knit last week with Fibre Tales again. because she put out a test for a cardigan that she's designed, and I got on, which was, you know, I was like, oh, you know, I might not get on. There's no harm in applying. I really like this. So yeah, it's a beautiful cardigan. I'm not going to say too much about it because she wants to keep like some of the more some of the details a bit secret. But if you go on her YouTube, she does actually show quite a lot of it there. So if you go over to her YouTube, she shows the process of some of this cardigan, but it doesn't have a name yet. But a lot of it is worked in brioche, which I love. I haven't worked brioche in a while, so that's really nice. And I've decided the yarn I'm using. So this is my first yarn purchase of the year, really, because so far I've only worked in Stash. Everything I had here was stuff from Stash. The Stash is still nice and healthy. I don't need any more, but I don't have DK weight sweater quantity or cardigan quantity yarn, so I've had to order that. And the yarn she used was a Danish pelsuld, and she has it from her parents' farm, I think, and she produces her own yarn and sells it on Etsy every now and then, but it's very small batch and it's hard, like there's not currently any available. So the most similar yarn I found was a yarn from Hjelholt Garn, which is also a Danish company, and they have a pelsuld as well, which is also DK weights. So, oh yes, someone wants some attention. Yes. So I then, it looks like it's the right kind of texture, which is what I want. I quite like woolly textures at the moment, so that's really fun. So I've chosen to do it in this kind of like apple green, but it's not a bright green because the wool base is a bit grayer. So it's more of a sort of olivey apple green, which I think is beautiful. And I think I'm quite into like the sort of dirty green colors, because this Monaco Vest is a strand of the hair is like a sort of brown camel color, but the mohair is a sort of forest mossy green color. So I don't know, maybe I just am enjoying the sort of neutrally browny earthy tones at the moment. So that's quite nice. Like this is also very neutral. Okay. Seagrass really wants to go outside now, so I'm just going to let him out. I'll be back in a second. Right, okay. So that's kind of all my stuff for now. And I think when I go on holiday, I will probably take the test knit with me because I'm away for 3 weeks from the middle of July to first week of August. So that's going to be really fun. And yeah. It's nice to have something to knit on the beach. Yeah, it's going to be wool, but I'd rather have something without mohair in it, I think. So these projects all have mohair in them, and I don't want to get all sweaty when I'm working with mohair. So that's the plan. And the other thing that I've been getting back into, which has been really nice this last week, is I was a bit sick. So I had some days where I wasn't even able to knit. I just had fever and stuff. So you can probably hear that I'm a bit congested still, but I'm actually fine. And I just decided, you know, I really like designing. I haven't gotten into it so much this year yet. But what really helps is like having a fresh notebook. I don't know if anyone else feels like that. So a lot of my notebooks are very like scribbled in and old, and I was like, no, just clean slate, new notebook. So I got, I really like having my stationery makes me very happy. So I got a Midori notebook from Midori Paper, which is a Japanese stationery company that I've wanted to try for so long. This, you can get these notebooks, then you can get like little plastic covers for them so that they don't get damaged. And I just got a plain book so I could just make drawings and stuff without having like lines interrupting. And I have already got so much inspiration, and I've drawn a few things, and I'm not going to show too much because like from a distance you can't see too much what I'm doing there. But I'm just having so much fun, and then so I make my sort of sketches there, and then I do like a little notes on the construction and like different types of construction if I think it could have several types. So yeah, I'm having so much fun, and like as a little indulgence as well. I'll see if I can show you. I got a little notebook ruler, just to make it neater, and it has little stencils of cats in it. So obviously I've been going crazy and drawing cats all over my notebook, which is very, you know, teenage girl, but that's okay. Having a lot of joy coming from that. And then having like the inspiration from this also reminded me to get back into my knitting bullet journal, which I have, which I hadn't updated in some time. And like bullet journaling is a very personal way to journal, I think. I don't write prose when I journal for my knitting, but I do write a lot of like inspiration and like colors that I like, designers that I like, and sometimes I'll write like a whole page of like patterns that would make my dream wardrobe, and then I'll come back to it a year later and be like, wow, some of this yes, but some of this not so much anymore. And I think it's really interesting to see how my tastes sort of evolve over time, which I like seeing. This is, for those of you who haven't seen my 2024 plans for knitting video, this was my mood board for 2024. And what's nice is I've actually, like, the Monaco Vest is there, and this is a snowy forest, which I already finished this year. So, and the tones are very earthy, and I think I'm still in that sort of earthy tone feel. So yeah, I'll show you a couple of things that I do in my bullet journal. So one thing I like doing with knits is tracking progress, because I find that quite motivating. And I don't really like the function on Ravelry where it's just like 10%, 20%, 30%. That works with some things like shawls and, you know, things where you can see percentage, but I think with sweaters and things, for me it's easier to be just like sections. So I have a whole progress tracker for all my sweaters. So I have like the pattern, the yarn, and then the progress is like 5 blocks, and it's yoke, body, sleeve, sleeve, and then the neck. So then I can see when I completed it or frogged it. And yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Monaco Vest was a bit hard to track because it doesn't really have, it doesn't have sleeves firstly, and there's no neckline, but it's more of a sweater than a other type of clothing. And yeah, it's just fun to look through this, you know, like dream shawls I want to knit, dream knitted summer wardrobe. Then I have a yarn stash thing, so I don't keep my yarn stash in Ravelry, I keep it all in here. Then as I use it, I cross off the boxes, which is fun. And yeah, I got back into this and updated it, and then I keep all my goals in here. So this is like my 2023 knitting goals. And yeah, I can see how much I did, and I have my 2024 ones as well. For those who aren't familiar with bullet journaling, it's just a form of journaling. This isn't technically a bullet journal because those tend to have like just dotted pages. But what's nice, this is what's it called? Luck Term 1917 journal, and what I love about their notebooks is all the notebooks have contents pages, and then all the pages are numbered at the bottom, which is so great. So when I did my PhD, I used to have the A4 ones, and I used those a ton. I went through like 3 or 4 of them, and you know, every time I went to a lecture or every time I had to like, you know, do research, I would keep it all in there, and then I had it all in the contents, and it really helped me stay organized and on top of things. So yeah, if you want some notebook inspiration, that's those. If you're in Norway, I tend to get mine on a website called GoodNotes. They have like deals and offers quite often. This is not sponsored in any way, I'm just letting you know, because Norway doesn't have like cute stationery shops like other places do, or at least Stavanger doesn't, which is where I live. So yeah, this is my fun knitting notes. So yeah, that's everything I had to share this week. I think maybe in the next couple of weeks I'll do a bit more structured videos with like, yeah, yarn brands and yarn reviews, and maybe some more designer deep dives, we'll see. So okay, hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And yeah, much love. Bye.